That one, and you can leave yours on.
Yeah, yeah. Can I welcome everyone to this February 2022 full council meeting of Colne Town Council, which has been live streamed on the Town Council's YouTube channel. So before we get into the rest of the agenda, I've just got something I'd like to say. Councillors, you will all be aware that Naomi is leaving us for new pastures, and her last day will be Thursday this week. I want to put on public record this council's gratitude for all the service that Naomi has given to this council. She began her local government career here at Colne Town Council when she was appointed as events officer, a role she took on with gusto and was the lead officer when the council took over the Rhythm and Blues Festival. Local people and local businesses have largely her to thank for all the enjoyment and the business success which the town has seen during the festival year on year. Naomi then stepped up to take on the role of the town clerk just over 2 years ago. A daunting task for anyone, but especially someone who'd not worked in local government previously. But she quickly settled into the role, and her great work ethic and energy helped her and the council to function efficiently and properly. The council has, since Naomi became the town clerk, taken on many more services, which has increased the workload and the workforce within the council. Naomi has managed this increased staff number successfully and is rightly proud of the team she has built. She has kept the council safe in all its dealings with organisations, companies, the public and other bodies, being on top of all the laws and regulations which councils need to work under. We thank her for keeping us all safe and away from litigation or legal challenge. Our financial responsibilities at this council are taken seriously, and our external audit responses have shown that we comply with all the financial rules and regulations which local government and that govern local government and all other accounting and financial rules and best practice. So can we now, as a council, record our thanks to Naomi for everything she has achieved and done to make this council what it is today? Yes, Councillor Butterworth.
I'd just like to add our side of the thank you. A personal one from me. I've known Naomi since day one. She's gone above and beyond, worked long hours that she shouldn't have, but all for the good of the community. So from me personally, you will be sorely missed. Really will. Thank you.
Yes, Councillor Clamp.
Yeah. One of the things that we took on was Alkin Courts Park, which was a massive do, and well, everybody in Colne wanted us to do it. It was a very big thing and something we'd never done before. So certainly as a councillor, I'd like to thank you for everything you've done to keep to get that part of it right. But wearing one of my other hats, we've also, as a council, set up a deal with the Philip Wright Crown Green Bowling Academy, which takes over a massive part of the park, and we wouldn't have got that agreement and we would not have got that advice without you. So thank you very much.
Okay. And thank you from the council.
Thank you very much,
and
councillors.
We wish you all the best in your new. Tomlin's very lucky.
Thank you.
Can we go on to apologies then? We've got apologies from Mark Chung, Dorothy Lord, Elizabeth Hurley and Sarah Coburn-Price. Are we happy to accept all those apologies? Yes, thank you. Declaration of interest. I don't think we have any declaration of interest. I've not seen anything on the agenda that might cause that to be taken into account. Item 4 is minutes of the meeting. Any questions or comments? That's the meeting held on Tuesday the 18th of January. No? Yeah, so can we approve them? Can I have I've had proposal by Councillor Butterworth. Can I have a seconder? Howard Thomas. Thank you. The next item is public forum. I don't think we've got any speakers. No public present. The next item 6, is exclusion of the public, to determine during which items, if any, the public are to be excluded from the meeting. Such an exclusion would need to be on the grounds that, in view of the nature of the business to be transacted, if the public were present, there would be a disclosure to them of exempt information within the meaning of Schedule 12A to the Local Government Act. We have a private item 7, so can we have a proposal that that's taken as a private item? 17, yes, Councillor? Yes, Councillor Clamp. So that's Councillor Butterworth and Councillor Clamp. Item 7 is to receive a schedule of payment for the 12th of January to the 8th of February. That's item 7A. Any questions on those? No? Everybody all right with the list? Yeah. Can I have a proposal then that these are taken? Brian, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Butterworth. Seconded. Item B is to receive a summary of budget, spend and commitment as of 8th of February. That's item 7B. Is there any questions on item 7B? No? Well then, can I have a proposal for that then, please? Councillor Thomas, Councillor Butterworth, thank you. So that's been approved by the council. Allotment transfer update. To receive an update on the transfer of the allotments land from Pendleborough Council to Combe Council. Naomi?
So this was asked to come back to council last month, and I can just confirm that we have had 2 allotment transfers sent from Pendle to the Land Registry on the 29th of September. The rest of the allotments have not yet been transferred or the documentation sent over.
And how many allotments would that we're still waiting?
17, because there's 2 that we're not looking to transfer.
17. Thank you. Is there anything that we can do to speed this up?
I'm chasing it regularly, but
It's Pendleborough Council that you need to be chasing up, doesn't it? Right? Okay.
Can I just make one comment there? Because now we've got the facts and figures for the update, it makes it quite easy to work out and realise yourself just where we are with these allotments, because it's taken 11 years to transfer 2, and there are 17 altogether, so there's 15 to go. We're not going to get them all transferred at this rate in this millennium. And I think we're going to have to write to Pendle again and tell them to get the figure out.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question then? Like David said, it took all this time for 2. What's the delay? Why are we having to wait so long? Can we not just block transfer them? I don't know. I'm not really an allotment person, but surely we can put them all together and transfer them. Same paperwork, just different numbers. It's not rocket science. So can we, as you said, right, and get it sorted? Yesterday is good.
because they're different land registry documents that they have them on, that's been why they've been being done separately. It has been something that's being chased monthly, and we just get told the legal team are busy.
We've got
But I can write to them.
Alice, who wants to speak on that, and then David Clamp. Alice?
Yeah, I understand that 2 have been transferred. Do we have a price on that for the legal fees? We've obviously got quite a lot of money in the allotment funds, and I just wondered whether it can be divulged to the committee, because obviously we've got to spend that money before the next financial year.
So this is part of Pendle deferring delegating services down. So we do not have any legal fees. We do, however, have legal fees for a piece of land that we're looking to purchase, which no, I cannot divulge because it's currently commercially sensitive. So that's why there is some money still in the allotments budget.
Okay, David, Councillor Clamp?
Yeah, this started 11 years ago when I was chairman of the allotments committee, and we asked them then, and it could be done immediately. They were very forthcoming. They wanted rid of it. It was them that asked us to take these allotments on, not us that asked them. And to my understanding, we've been asking every 2 years since, and we're still in this state where we've only got the 2. We've just got to keep battering at the door, because the truth of the matter is, they wanted this to happen. If this is what they do when they want to get rid of something, why should we be looking at anything else?
Yes, I think we're I think we're on to them every month, but nothing seems to be happening.
Would the council then like us to write to the chief exec at PBC to try and express members' unhappiness, frustration, and we'd really like this sorting, and that you won't be considering any other services until this and the land at Waterside for the play areas transferred?
Yes, I'd be happy with that. Are we? Oh, yes, Jonathan.
Is it Pendle or Liberata?
The emails I get at Pendle Borough Council's legal team.
Yeah, I honestly, I can't believe we're even discussing it. We're here discussing it, actually discussing it. And when I were involved 2015, and when I first came onto the council, we were on with it then. We were on with it 11 years ago. And I mean, it's a really simple thing to do, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they're into will, is there? I think that's it. I don't think it's top of their agenda.
I think we're at the bottom of the agenda rather than the top. Yes.
I just think between the different councils, as in town, borough, and obviously like the county council, there's just no commitment. There's no joining up. There's no, I mean, I've sent very, very, very few emails because I like to talk to people. I like to see what their attitude is over a phone rather than, there you go. It's a lot better to talk. And these people, whoever they are not talking. And somebody, and I don't really care who it is, people pay the poll tax for our councils. So they have a right to have a bit of sense of, are they doing the right job? Somebody must be accountable. No matter which way you go, this paperwork must lead to one person or one department. And we should head for that department and then really actually complain to them directly rather than it going through the system. Go directly to who's in charge of it and have a good word. Thank you.
It'll be Liberata, definitely.
Yes, David.
Yes, Chairman. I think we've actually learned a lesson with this. I know it's took us 11 years to learn a lesson, but initially they wanted us to take the allotments over because, like a lot of other services, Pendle Council could no longer afford to run the allotments, so they wanted to, for want of a better word, palm them off onto us. And we took them on. At the time, had we have said to them, we will start paying for the allotments and we will maintain them once you've transferred them to us, I think they would have been transferred a lot quicker. And I think we have actually learned a lesson here, and Pendle have made a rod for their own back with doing this to us, really, and being sort of deceitful with these transactions for the allotments. Because as far as I'm concerned, and you can write and tell Pendle this if you want, Chairman, from as far as I'm concerned, next time they want to transfer something to us and palm it off onto us, we will get all the deeds signed up legally through the solicitors and on our desk before we start paying a penny towards it, and that'll make them transfer it quicker.
I agree.
Councillor Thomas.
Was it ever thus that the hold-up within Pendle Council, I don't know what it says on the door now, but has always stopped at the legal department as Councillor Clamp has just said, it has been like this for the last, God help us, 30 years or more. And until Councillor Clegg is quite right, until things are signed over, signed, sealed and delivered, as they say, I don't think we would touch anything else with the proverbial barge pole.
Well, we've got a resolution to write to Pendle Council, Legal Department, and...
the Chief Executive.
Oh, Chief Exec, yes. Can I have a proposer for that? Neil, can I have a seconder? David Clamp put his hand up first, I think. All those in favour? Thank you. Anybody against? Right. Thank you. Item 9 is the Colne Youth Action Group. To receive an update on the Colne Youth Action Group's expenditure of the grant to purchase of the floodlights. Do you want to?
Yeah. So I was asked last month for an update on this one. I believe Councillor Coburn-Price, who is a trustee there, was going to update us if anything changed. But as far as we are aware at the moment in the office, the floodlights haven't been purchased. And if that's the case and the money hasn't been spent before the end of the financial year, it will need to be repaid to the town council and reapplied for the next financial, for something else or
Yes,
No,
Councillor.
you're absolutely right. I mean, I think. Oh, the red light's on there, though. Have a faulty red light, obviously. Hello. There you go. Good works. Yes, the money will be spent by the 31st of March for sure, and I will have a receipt to you. I reconfirmed the pricing for the suppliers. We still haven't got our hands on the keys for the building, so obviously we've got nowhere to store these floodlights. That was the big issue we had. So we've got many boxes of these floodlights apparently. So therefore, once we get the keys to the Byron Road building, it's got a nice big garage, and that's where we plan to store them. So they will most certainly be spent by the 31st. The latest position is they're doing a few final repairs, they're checking the electrics, they're upgrading the burglar alarm, etc., etc. They're also, I've just been sent a lease by the solicitor as well, so I've got to look through that. That's a nice sort of 70-page tome of joy, very efficient legal department, obviously. So I'm going to look through that, and then we get that signed off, and then hopefully we should be able to proceed quite quickly on that one. But yes, I will make sure, because obviously I'd like to come back for another grant, you see. We've got big plans for that building.
All right. How much space would you need for these big boxes full of, because if it's not finished by when you think, you'll need to find somewhere else to store them.
Oh no, they all fold down and things into boxes, so it's not like they're floodlights height.
No, I know, but
They
how
do
many
fold out.
boxes, how much space?
Yes. Apparently it sort of fits in the back of a big van.
Right.
So, I've got lots of floodlights, lots of spare batteries, all that kind of stuff.
Perhaps
that's what
the
spec
town
is.
hall could store them for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of space because we have a lot of our kit saved here, but there is probably half a storeroom in the basement, which if you don't need access to them out of hours, which I'm guessing with it getting lighter at the moment, you're okay. They could be ordered and temporarily, if council agreed, for them to be temporarily put here.
why don't I'll keep you posted on how things are going with the lease things and whatever, and therefore we can decide whether I could ask a favour to store it temporarily, or whether we just find another place to put them for the time being. But yeah, rest assured, we will definitely have a bill by the 31st of March.
Yes.
We've got the money ring fence in the bank account as well, so we haven't spent it on other things, don't worry.
Yes, Brian.
Can I just ask the question, is there no issue with storing the batteries?
How do you mean?
Like car batteries? Could they let gases off or something on the internal?
These are sort of small batteries that you would use in, say, clever garden equipment, that sort of thing. So it's not as big and messy and chemically as a car battery. It's more the sort of stuff you'd put in a big, chainsaw type thing or hedge clippers or whatever. So it's the sort of thing you plug in.
So if Colne Youth Action Group are struggling to find somewhere, are we happy that they approach Naomi and or Gina, would it be, to see if we've any room as an emergency? Are you happy with that? Yeah? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Item 10 is Blues Working Group. It's that we change the Blues Working Group to an advisory committee with the terms of reference that were attached. This went to the Blues Working Group and they were happy for that, but it will need ratifying here. Has anybody any issues with that? No?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What does it really mean in terms of the difference way the committees, i.e. working group versus advisory committee? Because I thought advisory committee sort of couldn't make committed funding decisions, but I noticed that this one does seem to have power to do that. So I'm just sort of curious, really.
I shall ask Naomi to give you that answer.
So working groups are internal meetings of officers, councillors and our private work advisory committees are ones that are open to the public. Depending on your terms of reference, depends on what authorities they have. They do tend to have more limited. And for example, the Blues as an advisory committee would be, their spend would be is based on what your delegated authority to your officers are. So full council delegated down to FES to oversee it, and it becomes a subcommittee or an advisory committee to FES for that reason. So a lot of them are based on terms of reference per committee.
Yes.
Everyone. No matter, I can shout. If anybody turns me off, I'll just shout. So, is there a list of actually who was on it? Because I was a bit confused last time, that exactly who was and who wasn't on it. And all was it, and I'm sorry?
It says on the paper that we could all be on it, and only 8 of us could vote.
Okay.
Well, you'd have to be elected onto it, so not a problem. But just to confirm, the current membership is Councillor S. Coburn-Price, Councillor D. Lord, Councillor A. Mann, who is the Vice Chair, Councillor K. McNulty, Councillor H. Thomas, Councillor M. Thomas, who is Chairman, and Councillor B. Wildman. It is up to 8 councillors can be on it with voting rights. If someone was proposing you to be the 8th member, you could take a vote on it and add them there and then.
Can I propose Councillor Butterworth, please?
Yes, you can. Can I have a seconder? Thank you. Kevin or Emma? Are we happy that Councillor Butterworth will be the 8th member with the voting rights? Yes?
Chair, the other reason for making this an advisory committee is there was a lot of flack thrown about and bad mouthing going on because people said, oh, we're trying to keep it secret. In fact, we were accused of that at the last council meeting, that because the item was a commercial item, involved commercial information, and it was in the private part of the meeting, we were sort of accused of, oh, what you're hiding and all the rest of it. This way, it'll all be streamed, it's open to the public, people can come along and see what is happening, whereas if it was a working group, we wouldn't be able to do that.
Right, thank you. First of all, we've got this proposal that and seconded that Neil be added to the committee as a voting member. Are we all okay with that? Yeah, all those in favour? And then the second one is that it becomes an advisory committee rather than a working group. So can I have a proposer for that, please? Councillor Thomas, seconded by Councillor Mann. Can I see a vote for that, please, that it becomes an advisory group rather than a working group? Okay, thank you. Item 11 is...
And before you move on, can I ask one other thing on this Blues working group? And it might be a bit awkward to ask Naomi this question when she's only got 2 days left with us. Are we happy that in the financial regs, the blues is separate? It has different terms and conditions to most of it, and the blues thing can do things that other areas of the town council can't. Are you happy, Naomi, that there is enough delegated authority to officers to cover any spend that would crop up on the blues as and when it might arise, or do we need to have it back to the next FES and possibly look at amending some of it?
I believe the delegated authority is suitable for the project. I am aware that your financial regulations will be coming back to you anyway due to your changing of management structure in your officers, but from what you've got in there, it is suitable. You shouldn't be as a committee, advisory committee or anything else spending more than that delegated authority on that item. And it is something that the auditor is very keen on, that it is kept as a separate financial regulations specific delegated scheme for it.
It's a risk.
It's extremely high risk and it's classed as large events. So yes, I would say it's suitable.
Okay. So did we do? Yeah,
You did.
Right. Item 11, the Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival update. I'll turn again to Naomi.
Thank you. So at the last full council, we did get asked to give a update to full council on where we're at. So to update you so far, planning is underway of the festival. The legal requirements such as road closures and everything have been applied for, as well as the temporary events notices. We are on with some of the artwork being designed and the venues being booked. We also, I can update you, there was a question about meeting with the Cone Blues Society, which officers did last week. They are very enthusiastic and we are working on collaborating with them as well for the 2023 festival. They are, nope, sorry, 2022, I'll get the right year, I do apologise, 2022 festival. The Cone Blues Society are currently engaging with the hospitality venues around Cone on who would like to be part of the Fringe, and they are also speaking to us as a hospitality venue for that because you do your pop-up bar here. A PR and marketing company has been appointed and they plan to start the work shortly, taking over the social media and everything from our previous agent. And unfortunately, at the moment, the council haven't received the lineup, and we're hoping soon, hopefully by the end of this month, we are pushing. And as soon as we've got that, the tickets can go on sale and we can start hopefully getting an income from it. Any questions?
Do you want to say that we booked the little theatre, but
I can't answer that yet. I don't know.
No, all right. Okay. Right. Okay. I mean, it is difficult. We've had 2 years of COVID, haven't we? So it's, I don't think we'll have a full lineup, but if we could have some we're looking for headliners, which will sell the tickets rather than a lot, the usual, like 100 bands or something. We need just to get the main bands booked and out on advertising. Right, item 12, planning. We've got the first plan is 22/009/FUL. It's Cardtronics UK. That's Glen Street, Cone. Retention of an automated teller machine. Is that the yes?
It's just a straight. I can't say anything controversial in it at all. I mean, other than it is Glen Street,
machine?
But it's just a cash machine with a new sign and everything. I think no comment should be our response to that one.
Oh, are you okay with that?
But in fact, it's both of them, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
okay.
one's the advert.
No comment, right. The next one is 21/1001/FUL. It's 25, 27 Ruskin Avenue.
Sorry, was that no comment for both planning 1 and 2?
Yeah, yes, it's, yeah. Thanks. Can I have any concerns or issues? Yes, Councillor Thomas.
For people that can't quite work out which it is, it's the one that's on the corner of Tennyson, the old co-op, which we seem to have a surplus of around various streets. It sounds innocuous, but the more I think about it and look at it, I think there are potential pitfalls with it, because if it gets permission for use class C3, for class E, there is a chance that they could then turn it into a takeaway without reapplying. So that would, I think, cause problems in this area. To my surprise, the county council seem to think that everybody from roundabout will use Shanks's pony to get there. I don't know where the person that wrote it is basing that on, but people sort of visit, and the shop, which is the left-hand half of it, as you look at it, as the plans say, there's no change. People go into the shop, go in cars now. So add car movement to the shop, to the car movement to the restaurant. I think there is a danger on that corner. Anybody that knows that area knows that cars like to race along Tennyson Avenue, all the way from Brainfade, the other street, Talbot Street, across the junction and along Tennyson, and then up and down to either Harrison Drive or wherever. So that is a very busy little narrow road, to say the least. Well, narrow in way.
How many car park spaces?
Well, there are. It doesn't show any. It doesn't show any car parking spaces. I mean, what people do now is pull up on the I don't know, it's paved or tarmac in front of it. So I think we can't turn it down, but I think we can express our concerns that additional traffic to that area with no detailed parking provision is a danger. We should say that it shouldn't be used as a takeaway. It should purely be cafe restaurant, and because of the fact that it is very close to, it's in the middle of houses, that it should shut at 10 p.m. And I think, generally, I don't know that there are that many grounds to turn it, but I think we should ask Pendle, at the very least, to put those conditions on it. If they are, I would prefer it that they didn't grant it, but if they're minded to, it should have those types of conditions on it.
Anybody, any comments, additional comments to that? Does anybody disagree that, no? So we'd like to have additional, well, some parking because of the additional traffic that will bring, not be used as a takeaway, and to shut by 10. And
sorry, I just thought of one extra thing, and there is a letter in there from the Environment Health Department that the flues and what have you should be properly designed and approved by them.
Right. Would you like to say something, Pat?
I was going to say that because when we got Dixie Chicks, they didn't do what they were told, and this town stunk for months and months until we got the fruit. It was higher than the buildings.
Yeah.
Still responsible, but you know, they didn't do as they were supposed to do, and it did make this town stink. Those people who live there, they're just going to be,
Are we happy with those requests, as it were? Yeah? Okay. Item 4 is 21/0908/LBC. It's Norway House, Albert Road, Mr. Jonathan Sugden, listed building consent. So it's anybody have any issues with this?
I think with this one, there's a concern about.
Aye, you've been got at by Sarah.
Sorry, can you press your mic again?
Yes. Did we all hear that? Oh, Councillor Thomas, did you hear?
Apart from the fact that it'll be a delicious roof if it's covered in Spanish and give the pigeons lot to eat, that was one concern that I was going to raise. And another one that needs, I think, a note putting on, that when the work is being done, care is taken with the scaffolding, because there is that one of the comments on the website concerns the fact that the last time roof work was done there, the scaffolding seemed to be left for absolutely ages.
After the work had been done.
After the work had been completed and wasn't done. So I think.
So is it objections on the grounds of material? That's what.
Well,
no objection or what?
We can say we would like it replacing. I don't know what's on it now. It doesn't actually say. I don't think.
I think it is just proper old stuff, but I think they said it was like for like. And obviously, you know, putting a cheaper alternative in there that won't last as long, et cetera, is not really like for like, is it? So it can't be the whole roof is damaged either. There must only be spot replacements, but, you know, it's what people tend to do. So, yeah. They should stick with like for like materials.
Yeah.
If it is to take place.
Yeah. Is that okay with everyone? Yeah? Right, 21/0912/TPO, that's just an ash tree in the garden. Pardon?
It's been approved already.
No, is it? Just note it then. Yeah. 21/0862/ADV, North Valley Plumbing Centre, advertisement consent. Erection of double-sided, freestanding, 48 sheet, size digital LED advertising unit.
All it's saying is that they've appealed, so.
All right. It's just an appeal, really. Huh? The next
It's almost as nice as the ones that Pendle have put in the conservation area.
21/0565/FUL. It's Harrowholme, Harrison Drive, Colne. Erection of detached dwelling house. Has anybody any comments on this?
All I've got on this one really is that it's not the greatest design in the world. It's got, you know, windows all over the place, wrong shape, size, etc. A bit dull, not very attractive, but I don't think there's anything we can really object upon.
Is this in the garden of a house?
It's
in a garden.
It's the first.
Yeah, you won't be able to see it.
You won't be. Yeah, you'd struggle to. If you don't know where it is, you'll struggle to find it.
But that's no excuse for not building it, I accept that.
It's on the, I'm going to say the track
Well,
that goes through, but
totally,
that's a
it's not
solo
planning reason,
ground.
is
It's not
it?
a path.
So are we saying no comment? Yeah. This next one's an appeal again, so just note it. So those are the two, those are the same, aren't they? So I think that's all the planning done. The next item is correspondence received.
None received, Chair.
Thank you. Item 14.
Chairman, there is
Yes.
some correspondence received, because I discussed it with you yesterday. We have had correspondence inviting us to submit 2 names for the Lancashire County Council highways thing that they have invited us to.
I haven't received any.
So can I suggest that I think we ought to use the 2 places, and 2 people ought to go on it to represent the town council. And I will admit I was going to ask someone if they wanted to go on it, and I forgot. So I'll suggest it now, and if he wants, he can throw something at me. I was going to ask if Brian was open to going on it, onto this highways thing. It's just a one-off meeting, like a seminar thing. I was going to nominate Brian, but unfortunately he can decline if he wishes, because it's my fault and I haven't mentioned it to him previously.
I remember you mentioned it to me, yeah.
I read the item. Do you want me to attend, or is it going on Teams? Okay.
The way I read it, Chairman, you can do it either way. You can either attend it at County Hall, or you can join it on Teams.
But are you happy?
I'm happy to go on Teams and attend.
Yes. Neil.
Thank you, young man. We should have somebody on there. We can't sit here and complain about things and then not attend the meetings when that would be silly. So we really should attend, and thank you very much, young man. Let's put our money where our mouth is.
We need another one to either go to County Hall or... Yeah, it is.
What day is it, Jonathan? I thought it was a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Yeah, you will, won't you? Anybody else want to volunteer?
What's it actually going to achieve? What is the purpose of it? Does anybody know?
Until someone goes and tests the water by dipping the foot in it, I can't say, Chairman. It's a case of suck it and see. But if we don't go, we won't know, will we? No.
Myself forward for it.
Yes, of course you can, Jonathan. It's a Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Better tell you why.
Teams. I'll be going on Teams.
Yeah, we'll all go on Teams. Yeah. Can I have a proposal that Brian and Jonathan will be our... Emma, second it. Yeah? Okay. Neil? All those in favour? Item 14 is items for future month's agenda.
So it's a bit different than what I'm going to say now about the agenda for next month. As we came into this building, there was a mess on the floor that somebody's done. Put the flags there. They've actually created. I know we spoke about it, but I want it. I want it in the public eye. And so they've picked the flags up and they've relayed them, and it's an absolute, not like the word, right, abortion. And when people look and walk past this building, they automatically think it is a Colne Town Council. And the reason why I'm saying this is when I was outside, stuffing my tea down my neck, a young lady come along and said, "This is disgusting. This is horrendous. How can this building, so beautiful, have this mess outside? And who's got away with it?" And like I said before, people in our different councils don't talk to each other. Somebody must have passed that. That is a public work. Somebody must have passed that for when they finished it.
It's Lancashire County Council again.
I know it is, but the people that walk past this building don't know, and they should be informed that it's not this town council that is making that mess. The lady outside there with the dog accused, not accused, but said, why have this council let this be passed? It's got to be passed because they've gone. Not only that, they've sprayed the cement all over the railings. And I mean, I work in this trade. Two things. I would have got took to court for it, you know, for not doing it properly. I'd have been sacked. And this is where I think that all councils are doing it wrong, because there's nobody accountable. They've marked it now with a white line or whatever, you know, Naomi has, and Naomi's on the case, and I know she's on the case, but people out there need to realise that when we do something like this, it's like the edge of this building here. Somebody put some yellow cement in it. It looked awful. Nobody's accountable. And that mess outside, there must be people that did it and people that are their bosses. They need to be held accountable. Because these idiots, and you can quote me on this, these idiots have done that outside, have caused a trip hazard. There's a trip hazard there now that wasn't there before. So these people need to be held accountable. Because
we've got a Lancashire County Council councillor. So talk to him as well.
Well, we will, but I'm just making sure that people know what it is. And the thing is this, is these idiots who did that, and I can call them idiots quite happily, these idiots are somewhere else doing the same job. And that's what we've got to stop. Thank you.
So just to update the rest of council on this one, I believe it was actually at our last council meeting, someone highlighted and said what a bodge job it was, to be polite. We'd actually already photographed it by that point because we weren't happy of what had been done next to your grade 2 listed building in a conservation area. I chased it after the last full council and was like, not acceptable. It's a trip hazard. It's a mess. It's a conservation area. And to boot, you've damaged our railings. So they then went out, county did, because it looks like it's been subcontracted out. So since then, they've been to mark it up to say it's going to be redone. And the hope is it will be redone very shortly. But I will, if council would like, just send another email before Thursday, encouraging when that work's going to take place.
Are you going to send CC to the councillor in this area? It'll be,
Yes, I will CC in the relevant county councillor in the area as well.
sure.
Okay, just one more thing. Thank you very much. I know you're on the ball, just that people out there don't realise. And the other thing I want to just state now, if we all know there's a trip hazard out there, and we all know, and we're sending emails, why isn't there a cone or some things around it now? Because people can fall it out. Sorry?
If we put it out, we become liable. It is for county who have done the job, who've caused the issue, to deal with what they deem as making it safe.
Then in that case, may I ask, please, as a councillor, that at 9 o'clock when this office opens in the morning, we're on the phone, we're on the email, saying we need that to be safe today, not next week when they get a team ready. That needs to be done now because people will fall over it.
CC to Councillor Sutcliffe.
Yes, he's the one in the area, isn't he? Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, are we happy? Well, not happy with it.
But yes.
That's, yes, thank you.
I completely agree with you, Neil. We've got a problem all around town. At the market, it was redone. Nothing to do with the town council, of course, but it's not any better than it was. The surface still has got, well, puddle areas, and it must have cost a fortune to do that. And I'm just saying that this is something that needs to be addressed.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Clegg.
Chairman, when the email gets sent to County Council, can you resend the photographs of the mess outside and also copy it in to County Councillor Charles Edwards?
Is he the councillor in charge of highways? County councillor?
He is the portfolio
Oh,
holder for
yeah.
highways.
Right.
What I'll do is I will forward the email trail from the original and ensure the photos are attached when sending it to say.
Right.
But make sure that Charles
Yeah.
Edwards is CC.
Certainly.
Do we want this to come back at next month's agenda to see how they've got on? Right. Anything else for next month, particularly? Yes, Jonathan?
I think Neil made quite a good point in the point he was making there, without realising it, perhaps. I think there's a lot of people out there who don't understand there's different levels of governance. And I think it might be helpful if there was some kind of, I don't know, like a flow chart of some description or a graph, an easy to read graph showing people who is responsible for what.
I have a feeling
For
there's
example,
something on our website already.
We could put it in the display things outside the
or,
council.
you know, put it on the Facebook as the cover page, something like that, you know. Footpaths, like you need to approach Lancashire County Council. Benches, we do benches. You know, stuff like that, I don't know, might just be helpful.
No, I'm just looking around the corner because I'm sure if it's not on the website, it is on the list of things to be on the website of who does what. So, but we could do a little post sharing it and reminding people, and we can put it on as a kind of, even if it's every 6 weeks, we share that as a bit of a reminder. Would that help?
On ComTalk, on Facebook.
On the socials?
Yeah, I think so, because, you know, this lady who was talking to Neil obviously doesn't know that we're not responsible. So it might just help.
Yeah.
Highlight it is a good word.
Highlight, well said, Neil.
Right. Anything else? No? Right. Item 15 is Colne Neighbourhood Plan.
Sorry, Chair. Item 15A, I was notified today, has gone back for further amendments and additions to it. So unfortunately, we're not able to approve the final draft of item 15A today.
There's only Stag House being adjusted.
Still not the final draft.
One entry of Stag House.
Councillor.
Chairman, I can't actually argue with that because, as David well knows, in a conversation that I had with Sarah, it was actually me who requested that Sarah considered adding this on, so I can't do anything other than support putting that in.
But it's just...
Because it does seem ironic, really, because the old Alkincourt Park was the old Alkincourt Hall and Estate. The lodge house at the bottom is a listed building, as we all know. And what was the lodge house at the top, which is Stag House, is actually nothing. It's got no recognition at all. It's got no special standing or anything. And I asked Sarah if she would have it included. So if there's anyone at fault, it's me.
I believe it's down to come back for your next month to get approval once those amendments have been made.
So I'll just expand a bit there. Actually, we did call in, we did have a look at it, took some photographs, got the historical description of it, and have just had that okayed by the owners today. So that is there. It's going to be nice, short and sweet. Disappointed, obviously, we can't progress without approving that, just subject to that one, but another one, push back another month there, never mind. The other person that was interested in the non-designated heritage assets was Colin Unwin, who kindly came along to one of the briefings held here. He had quite a portfolio of sites that he wanted to throw into the mix as potentials. I think he said, obviously some of them were listed, which means they don't get to go into this list because they've already got listing. This is the non-designated, i.e. non-listed assets. And he was also more than happy to park his suggestions for a year or so until we have the sort of annual review on these things, in order to avoid delaying the plan at all, which was excellent. So we thanked him for his support, and that was excellent.
Well, it'll come back next month for approval at this council.
Other than that, 15B, yeah.
15B can go forward. Yes.
Can I just ask Councillor Corbyn Price, now that it's getting delayed, would it be possible to put Colin Unwing's requests in there?
I think it's one of those ones, it's are you going to write them?
Has he not already written them?
No.
Oh. We'll wait.
I think it's one of those ones. The non-designated heritage asset is it's not a fundamental planning document. It's one of those things to support the pride in the town and the pride in the town's assets. So it's not one of those core things like choice of sites or whatever. I think with this one, it's going to be an ever-evolving document because it's one of those things that as people get interested in it and years go by in the future, there'll probably be other ones that people will discover are missing and whatever, and there's little nooks and crannies all over Cone which might well yield more and more. So I think probably that's the best way to do it.
Thank you.
So it's just 15B.
So can we have a proposer for 15B to go through, please? Howard Thomas, can we have a seconder? David Price?
All those in favour?
All those in favour?
Do people want an update on where we are, by the way, in terms of various things? So obviously done so far is the marketing prospectus and the landscape/long range views, and obviously we've just done the coal risk now. Non-designated heritage assets is nearly there. We've got the design code which is out for consultation. A little hiccup on which version unfortunately was presented to the public. I think we got there in the end on that one. Then we've got the green spaces and viability assessments. They were both looked at by the advisory committee and they were passed with a few tweaks here and there, which are all being processed. And I think the viability ones has been sent out today to have a look at. That was just getting the naming consistent across the various documents. So those two are done and therefore should come to the next meeting for approval. We've got the sites themselves, the development sites. Supporting that with the master plans. There's a couple of master planning exercises going on to support the viability assessments for a couple of the sites we've picked. So locality are on with that. Again, the advisory committee gave permission for that to go ahead. So locality are pressing ahead with that. One of them's owned by Pendle as well, so that puts it in quite a good position to be a viable site. That also, we've had a bit of a response from the Environment Agency, so we need to look at some of their concerns as well. You know, they're obviously picking up little floody areas and such like. So we'll have a look at that. And there's also a heritage appraisal to fit into the site assessments as well. Other ones, smaller ones, easy to do. We've got the strategic, the environment and the habitat regulation document. That's a quick assessment there. There's a document to be done on the consultation process as well, and what's been done, how the engagement took place, etc. Then we've got an assessment of the basic conditions. So that's another one. That's why I'm keen to get these going, you see, people, because obviously there's a lot to get through here. And then, of course, you've got the plan overall, the sort of master plan, which sort of hangs over the whole lot. As part of putting those together as well, we've got locality on the hook ready to do the health check, the sort of MOT check on the final version, before we then punt it to Pendle for Regulation 15. So still quite a few to do, but they're still churning through. There's good progress on all of them, I think. Bit frustrating, obviously, where there's little typos and changes here and there, but we're nearly there. And we'll make it the most perfect we possibly can. So we should be proud of as a town.
Have you got any estimates of how long it'll take? You know, going through that, it seems such a lot.
Well, I think we want it all within the next 1 to 2 months.
Right.
Yeah. So it should come back here in April for final approval, I think is what we're looking at.
Can I just ask about the heritage document again? You were sort of saying that perhaps if Colin wrote the descriptions that he's...
Try and lock it down.
Yeah.
Don't have it ever evolving, please, because nobody else is writing
I feel
this.
that because he has brought them forward, if he had the opportunity to write them, would we be able to pop them in? Because it makes sense now that he won't need to wait the year or 5 years, because we're going to be doing some updates anyway.
But he didn't mind waiting, and he didn't want to hold up the plan in any way.
I have had another comment from another lady who would have liked to see the nook in there. So if it is going to go for revision, it makes sense if possible.
If I may. One of the things requested was by the council was that they had a minimum of 2 weeks to review these documents prior to when normal full council documents would go out. If those additions were made, it would delay the project. So I think Councillor Coburn-Price's thing of collating them for once it's been approved and bringing them back a year in advance, a year after, because the documents will all there. My understanding is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it's a living document anyway that's reviewed every 6 to 12 months for a number of years. So that would give time for the whole thing to be approved, and in the background those write-ups could be being done for, say, 12 months after it's been approved, because I know you've got quite a lot of work on it with it at the moment. Please do, again, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's absolutely correct.
But it would mean, because the additional ones you want to add, it's going to take a bit of time to get the write-ups done, because it has done for all the others. So I think that's my understanding of it. So it's not that they're not going to end up going in, it's just that they want to move it along. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, people talk about planning applications and exposures and whatever, and I think having the plan finished sooner rather than later is the best way to give protection to Cone and its green fields, etc., etc. That's what we should be focused on. Laser focus.
So yes, they will get added, but in time.
So we're saying a year's time, and then it can be updated.
A year time after approval?
After the plan is made, then it has an annual monitoring requirement, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you say that Colin Unwin's happy with that? Yeah?
Fabulous.
I did have another lady who isn't so happy, so that's why I put it forward tonight. And I believe she's probably got the right up.
Well, Alice or Brian, if you do want to bring it back, you'll get it on as an agenda item on the next full council or
Next neighbourhood plan.
Or next neighbourhood plan or something to try and
Speed it through.
Speed it through, because I'm not up with a neighbourhood plan. I don't know whether any, many of us are anyway. I just want to say that the council shut next week on the 23rd and the 24th of February.
For staff training.
Staff training. They're all being trained. Got some training for 2 members of staff, but they've offered for the same price to train all the staff. So we're taking advantage of that. So it won't be open on the 23rd and the 24th. Okay. Date and time of next meeting is the 15th of March at 7 p.m.